Welcome to Profiletraders. This is Reza and you're listening to my market analysis for August the 20th. So we're gonna start to look at a daily chart of ES to get a picture of the long time frame. And what we are seeing is that we have finally been able to clear past 2850, which has been a struggle for a whole bunch of times that we came to 2850 and we rejected price below 2850. Now we are finally above it on a closing basis, which is now clearly makes 2850 as our main area of support. As long as we remain above the 2850, one has to assume that sooner than later we are going to come for a test of this all-time high, which was done at 2885-ish or so. Also, if we do some projection on measurements, taking this leg from here to here and projected from this low, we do reach a termination on the upside right around 2889, 2890, which is more or less that same top, which could possibly either match it or exceed it by slightly. Also, you can draw a trend line hooking the most recent two lows, project a parallel line from the most recent top here. You will also get possibly the same projection right around 2900. So anywhere between 2888 to 2900 is the best case scenario where price should go terminate. However, I would like you to notice on the effective volume, last time we were here, the effective volume was this level. Now we are approaching that high and effective volume is down here, which means that this price has been pushing a little bit on hot air and there is much less commitment on the buy side that we saw on the last leg towards that peak that we reached. Now let's go back to the short time frame and see what's going on. Today was an absolute slow, boring, non-eventful day. It managed to copycat the range of the overnight and it managed to stay inside the overnight range. So now if I was able to push this profile to the left and the current day profile to the left and combine them all, we would be getting a massive consolidation at this top. This is an indication of two things. Either market is extremely tired and is ready for a pullback, or either is consolidating to explode past 2861 in order to go to 2870, and then after that the retest of the record all-time high. But before we do that, we do have a bracket now contained between 2861 to 2850, and one has to look for either side break. Above 2861, I'm expecting 2870 to be reached. Below 2850, I'm expecting 2842 to be reached. Obviously, the fact that we have already rallied a significant amount on the upside from the 2803 recent low that we saw last week or several days ago, all the way to 2861, that's about 60 points of a rally without any correction. Any attempt to break highs will encounter significant resistance, because the more we drag here, the more the longs from lower levels are getting anxious to exit, and that could trigger a profit taking. But nobody knows the future. You can only observe, and once it happens you can react to it. And right now what I'm waiting to react to is to see that I break 2861 or I break 2850, and then I will judge the nature of the break and accordingly we'll strategize once that happens. Let's now take a look at crude oil on a daily basis. We are seeing that the trend is definitely to the downside. We can have several projections to the downside. One projection is this leg here, projected from this high here, gives us a 62.5 downside projection. If I draw the trend line down and project a parallel line to it, it will also give me even a lower level downside projection. And from a technical point of view, we are doing absolutely nothing but a very labored, hesitant retracement against a large leg down that we have not been yet, after 1, 2, 3 sessions, to retrace it. So if the buyers are not coming into this market very, very soon, I believe it will, from this little consolidation that we are witnessing, we're going to break down and we're going to have another severe leg push to the downside, which could then come test the 200-day moving average. And then if that 200-day moving average doesn't hold, usually upon a break of it, it creates some kind of a earthquake, because a lot of technicians look at the 100 and the 200-day moving average. And obviously you have the two targets to the downside, 62.4, and then this level wherever the purple line will be touched. Now we're going to bring in the profile chart and look into a shorter time frame. Again, we are seeing that this dominant session to the very left, which was a trend day down, it still has not been retraced. We are seeing that all the minus developments above the half part of the profile, which is past 65.55, it still has not been challenged. All these are weakness and negative. And then I am seeing that Friday session here contained last night and contained today. Therefore now, if I want to go to the most recent event in the market, this profile here from Friday is the one dominating the market. As long as it's high and it's low hold, we are going to rotate inside of it. But because we are more or less towards the middle of this session, it's high and it's low, our support resistance level, at which point it will respond on the upside to the sell side if we do reach it, and it will respond with buy on the bottom part if we do reach it. How do we manage to create a zone? Well, we go to the today's high 65.64, and then Friday high 65.76. That becomes our resistance zone. We do the same with the low. The overnight low from last night was 64.84, and then I just bypassed Friday's low by a couple of ticks and picked that low in order to include it, which gives us 64.84, 64.68, a buy zone there. So best bet right now, because this session from Friday is dominating, is to let price come into that zone. If it fails to break through it, upon an exit back into 65.64, one can look at selling it and using a stop on the other side of 65.76. Same thing on the downside. Price comes into the buy zone. If it doesn't break to the downside, up on an exit back above 64.84, one can go long with a stop on the other side of 64.68. That's usually when you are contained within a wide range as the one that it is dominating since Friday. So let's see how everything goes tomorrow. Hope it's going to be a better and a more volatile day. And thank you for listening. And again, if you wish to learn market profile, check my website profiletraders.com. You can get all my courses, 1 year to my trading room education, live every day for $550 the whole package. Thank you, until the next time.